All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Restored Minds Show. My name is Matt Codde. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and today I have a special guest by the name of Jason Schnitzer on with me. And we're going to try to do something different on the show today. Normally it is me, and sometimes I'll have guests occasionally, but I wanted to bring Jason on today. He's a close friend of mine, and the reason is because we were having a really good discussion, just as a regular talk, just kind of about everything that's going on with this pandemic and all that. And I thought it would be beneficial to take this topic and kind of put it into the episode and kind of put some of the stuff we've been talking about out there to stimulate some thoughts and everything like that with people in the community. So first and foremost, hey Jason.
Hello, Matthew.
And so I wanted to just start off the show today, and I wanted to just talk about this idea of what we were talking about as a whole, being that yes, this COVID-19 pandemic is something like we've never seen before, but we got into this concept because it's being said again and again and again and again of this idea of an unprecedented thing, right? Like something we've never seen before. And that's what's causing a lot of people, so much fear and anxiety and uncertainty, right? This idea that we've never had to handle something like this before. So there's no blueprint, there's no playbook on what to do. There is just kind of this thing unfolding. And you had brought up some ideas on this unprecedented time. And, I just wanted to hear your thoughts and hear what you had to say about that.
Yeah, I feel like I've been preaching about it a little bit for a couple of years now, but my whole thing is we're coming out of a time in our lives that I just felt like it was just too easy to be alive. Going back however many hundreds, even just hundreds of years, we were worried about, hand to mouth, just feeding our families and having to worry about, our wolves going to get us on our walks to work and hunting for our food. Whereas now, you can pretty much just push a button and get whatever you want at your front door.
Yeah, no. And I know we were talking about that, and it's just that idea of like, we were actually living in an unprecedented time right before this pandemic started, where
absolutely
things had just become so easy, but the ironic thing, and here I think was the ironic thing about, because I think the most important thing for people during this time is to like, okay, look, yes, we're in this pandemic. Yes, it's awful. Yes, there's many terrible things happening, but then there's these like secondary benefits that people are seeing, like the idea of slowing down, right? Like just the idea of like, I had Jess and we had another couple over, and we did like a social distancing barbecue yesterday, right? Where we had the baby and we just went and kind of sat at a bench, right? And we, took the time to prepare food and just had a slow, nice meal with just two other people, right? And it was something just so nice about it, because we hadn't done it in forever, where it was just like we just had conversation. We didn't have phones out, we weren't doing anything like that. It was just talking with people, right? And I think that because life had become so automated in many ways, where it was like anything was just on demand. Like if I wanted a Krispy Kreme donut, it was as simple as not even that I drive there to get it anymore, right? It's just like you can literally, it's not even that you have to go out and get something that someone else made for you. It's simply, I just have to type something into my phone and someone will not only pick it up for me and deliver it right to my door, right? Like that was the time we were living in, where things had become so automated that then it became this kind of incessant drive to just always be busy and always be productive and just live at an insane pace. Because, I don't know, do you relate to that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you're flexing that impulse muscle. And it's like with anything, the more you do something, kind of like the more normal it becomes, And a really, really good realization for that for me is, I did my little trip to Idaho this past year, a little hunting trip to Idaho, and, no service where we were at. So it was just really interesting.
How long were you there?
I was there for 15 days, so a couple
So
weeks.
off the internet grid for 2 weeks.
Basically in and out, we'll call
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
But the biggest realization that I felt is my impulse to like grab my phone and just check social media, or just thinking that
Mm,
like I needed to do something. So
yeah.
I feel like that and after not having it for a while, I caught myself now paying more attention to the moment and being more aware of other people doing those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think we were in that type of a situation without even knowing it. Just kind of like you keep on, like I said, flex that impulse muscle. I think it's
Yeah, and it's I mean there's a couple like main thoughts. Like, I mean, you know, like you said, it was just so easy to be alive, right?
mm-hmm.
Like living wasn't a struggle. It became so automated that you take not having that struggle for granted. And now, not that many of us are in, let's say, I wouldn't say like physical I mean, of course there's this virus going around, we need to be cautious of it, right? But
Right.
even there's studies that are showing like many of us may have already been exposed to it. You know what I mean? We don't, all this stuff we don't know, everything's just unfolding day after day after day.
Right.
But the thing is life as we knew it essentially just got the brakes hit on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it caused a lot of like, it's caused me, it's caused most of the people I know, and I think most of the people that are listening, decide to at least have stuff come to the surface to address within yourself. Like, like if I'm just being super transparent, I think I was talking to you about it. It's like, I could easily just get caught up in work, right? And to the point where I'm neglecting my wife in many ways, where I'm like, just so I'll come home and I'm checking emails where she's trying to tell me something. And it's embarrassing to even say out loud sometimes, because it's like, I was just operating at an unhealthy pace in many ways,
Sure. Sure.
and just kind of sitting there and been like, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I really doing? Am I just doing stuff to do it?
Yeah.
And trying to automate all these things in my life, and not taking for not realizing the actual like great things that are there, right in front of me.
Why are we all doing this in the first place?
Right,
Right.
right, right.
Why?
And yeah, and so, and just, but I think that this secondary, what I'm hearing from a lot of people anyway, is that, and this from emails and just stuff that I'm getting, it's just this idea of like, this break, while it's been tough in many ways, it's actually been a blessing in disguise for many people, of just saying like, of just putting to question how you were living, and I think one of the biggest things that I'm trying to take away from this is just not, because I can feel myself just gravitating towards that idea, like, okay, I really hope this band lifts, and because then I really want to go on this trip that we were planning this summer, or, whatever, right? I
Mm-hmm.
like this craving to get back into how it was,
Sure. Yeah.
just that, because again, it's almost like the devil is the worse than the one you don't, it's like
Yeah.
this idea of like, hey, going back to, and just being drawn back to that,
Well, yeah,
and
it's
just,
because you know it. You know
right,
it. It's like everybody has that fear of the unknown.
right. And just being drawn to that, and just being aware of that, is a big thing of just seeing like, because the other thing is like, while many people, and I know we were talking about this too, is like, while many people have these great things that have come of it, maybe their marriages have gotten like a, deeper connection, or just the idea that they've slowed down enough to just enjoy a simple pleasure in life, like cooking a meal or
Mm-hmm.
going on a walk, right? All these things that people are taking the time to do now, and gaining a lot of joy from, which is excellent, right? Not always being this hyper stimulated state all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the things that a lot of us don't want to think about, that, hey, the single elderly person down the street who's just alone, that hasn't had a physical touch to
Yeah.
someone in weeks or months even, right? I think, and I was thinking about this the other day, like, because a lot of times these schools are shutting down, and a lot of kids are looking at it great, but for some kids out there, school is the only safe place they know, because they're getting out of, a chaotic, maybe dangerous home environment.
Yeah.
And now because of this, they're stuck in that, right? With a person that might be physically or emotionally abusive, and they don't have that school to just be like, hey, I'm safe here at least, like, and and again, me, being, I think, and just like a natural human drive, you just get so focused internally of like, okay, well, I want this to be over. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I think we all do, but man, just not even realizing all the people that I could potentially be helping just around me right now during this time,
For
you
sure.
know? And it's, yeah, it's just different way to look at it. And that's kind of what I wanted to look at and talk about, is just that opportunity in front of us, and I know I wanted to, hear your thoughts, because we were talking about this. I think you said some good things, and I just wanted to, give you an opportunity to share your thoughts on this idea of seeing this as an opportunity, you know?